Hello, I'm Jennifer Stein. Welcome to the program for Mainline MUFON at the Radnor Channel, Studio 21. And I'd like to know a little bit about, since you came from a very standard and traditional and conservative background in chemistry and with a degree at Princeton, I'm sure stepping into the extraterrestrial field is a bit of a journey, and I'd like you to share a little bit about that experience.
Yes, indeed, that's so. My background really was very traditional. I was trained as a chemist, as a scientist, and therefore I had a lot of respect for evidence. But I must say, while I was at St. Joseph's, I was a student there. I was an undergraduate. And in those days, when I was in the class of 1955, there was a great emphasis on the religious philosophical aspect. So I was not merely in the hard sciences. I became interested in UFOs as we knew them at the time, way back in the 1950s when a classmate of mine introduced me to Project Blue Book and some of the writings about that. And I was fascinated by it, and I was put off because I knew, as all scientists knew at that time, that for anybody to travel from, let's say, the Andromeda galaxy to our galaxy to the, even at the speed of light would be something like 25 million years one way and 25 million years the other way. It just didn't make sense. Mm-hmm. So what happened is that much later, let's say 4 years ago, I was given a DVD of Stephen Greer's 2001 press club event in which something like 20 different really credible witnesses, including air traffic controllers, military pilots, government officials, described their experiences. They were very credible, and I remember that at the time my wife Carol was, if anything, a little more skeptical than I was. And she looked at that DVD and said, looking at those faces, they are real. I can believe them. And so we came to believe in them. And I have to say that our own interest was almost an offshoot of the question, are they real or not? And it was simply this. Of course, we were very concerned about the environmental problems. We understood that there is technology that the extraterrestrials have perfected and which could be available to us, which would absolutely solve our environmental problems. And that was such a matter of hope for us. And we spoke to people, and when we shared it, they said also, I was despairing. And this possibility that the ETs might be helpful brought us some hope. And that's why I think that the things that I do are really connected to one another. I teach meditation, not only because it's been very helpful for me and Carol, but I think that higher consciousness is exactly what we need. Because to me it's clear that the power of the ET technology not only will be very good for us, but it could also be very threatening since it can be turned into weapons. And so absolutely, we are not ready yet. Yeah. In many ways, our society is still a barbaric society doing wars and violence of every kind. And only when we get past that will we be able to move into this almost utopian life. And so I think consciousness is really an important part of it. And I might say there's a protocol that Stephen has that we use. He teaches us. And it involves some tangible things, such as shining a laser up. He has lasers that shine out to 2 miles. And he might, for example, move in a triangle, and then there would be lights that would take the shape of a triangle or flashback. So that would be one. There also are sounds. There are certain sounds that were picked up in a crop circle some years ago, and one of his people, Charlie Ballow, has analyzed those sounds and recreated them on the synthesizers, so they are really, really pure sounds. And those are played as a way of attracting ETs. But those are really the minor ways. The major way is to have everybody together, a group of 20 or 30 or 40, all together, going into a deeper consciousness by use of a mantra, and then doing a kind of imagination, a visualization, where they would imagine being out somewhere, let's say in Andromeda Galaxy, try to notice if there are some ET beings or ET vehicles, and some of the people actually are skilled at remote viewing, and so they actually do see these. And if they do, then vector them in, show them our Milky Way, show them the Earth, show them this particular place in North Carolina, and bring them in. And the point of it is you always at the end say, our paramount concern is your safety. But if it is safe for you, would you manifest in some way? And we want you to know that although there may be hostile forces that are targeting you and even trying to shoot you down, you have citizens, you have people like us who are aspiring to the kind of higher consciousness that you have, who welcome you. And that's that phrase about ambassador to the universe, that we are, our Secretary of State is not doing it, our President is not doing it, other countries are not doing it, but this is a movement of people, of higher consciousness, and consciousness is power.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful enterprise.